Welcome to Los Angeles. It's game one time. In just over an hour's time, Manchester United will walk out onto the pitch just over there in the SoFi Stadium to play our first game of our US tour against Arsenal. Danny, how are you feeling?
I'm excited. You know what? I'm loving the sunshine. I'm really enjoying being out here and the game now building up. Bit of atmosphere. Can't wait to see how they go against Arsenal.
We've got the FA Cup between us.
Yeah.
The final game of the season was that magnificent performance against City, maybe the best game of the whole season for us in terms of overall performance.
Yeah.
The season ended so well. Are you now thinking, well, this is perfect, we build on it, and does that start today?
I think you tap into the feelings of the final. It was a really emotional day, the final, and you could feel that with the talks that Erik ten Hag had with the players before and the staff, that prior to kick-off, everybody was ready for it. You know, you could see in the warm-up their actions, their energy, and that's what we want to take into this season. The same sort of combative nature, the never say die attitude, and take our chances when they come.
You and I have been at team training the last 2 days. Are you enthusiastic about what you expect from the performance because of what we've seen?
Yeah, but putting it in context that it is, for some people, they won't. Well, nobody's really had 90 minutes yet, so it's a build-up process to getting where we need to be. But that says, now it starts to get more competitive. We want to win. That's always when you listen to Erik, it's always the narrative. We want to win football matches. So yes, we want to win, but do it with the right intensity. But make sure everybody comes out unscathed.
Is it perfect that we're here in Los Angeles, but we're playing a Premier League team, because those are the teams we're going to be playing most often? Yeah, of course.
It's a good gauge for where you're at versus one of your big rivals, Arsenal. We did it last season. We beat them in New York, and then they went on to have a fantastic season. So we want to make sure that we beat them, but we go on to have a better season this time.
And I suppose a part of that is how the players get on, but a part of it also, I suppose, is luck. This season just finished. We were so unlucky with injuries. Not something we can control very well. But if things go our way, do you think this could be a great season?
Listen, I think we've got to put it in context. I think without getting carried away, we need to be better.
I want to get carried away, Danny.
But we can't get carried away, because we've got to make sure that where we are. We're not just going to go and most likely win the league next year. We've got the gap to fill. But what we want to see is we want to continue winning trophies. We want to make sure we're competing to the very end. If we win it, of course, that's the dream. But being realistic for a minute, we need to make sure that progress is made, and we're happy with what we're seeing on the pitch. We have less injuries, and we can look at this time next year and be looking back on a season that we think has been a success.
But I know exactly where we are. We're in Los Angeles.
I'm world famous for being dangerous.
United are playing against Arsenal here in Los Angeles, something that I think will excite fans not just for the pre-season tour but also the season ahead.
I'm excited. It should be a nice little bite to the game.
Yeah, sorry we are late, but there were a lot of fans outside, so we did some signings before the training, and then we had a good session.
I'm world famous for being dangerous. I'm world famous for being dangerous.
I think this is a great opportunity to watch two of the best teams in the world. It's a good test. We want to win every game, especially when we play Arsenal.
The stage is certainly set, and what a stage. The absolutely breathtaking SoFi Stadium here in Los Angeles. There are 70,240 seats in this truly spectacular arena that today is host to Manchester United's first game on our US tour in 2024, presented by Snapdragon. And of course, it's the old enemy, Arsenal. Danny, have you ever seen a stadium like this?
It's unbelievable. No, it really is. You saw there the pictures coming up to the stadium, the water around the outside. I don't think you can even grasp the size of it. And then when you walk in, it doesn't disappoint. And it's heating up now. Plenty of fans coming in, so expecting a great atmosphere.
Robbo, this cost £5 billion to build. Money well spent?
It's amazing. I mean, it is probably the best stadium I've been in. I mean, the one in Las Vegas last year, that was unbelievable. But, I mean, this takes some beating, this stadium. But, hey, what a stadium for the boys to start off the season and, you know, play somewhere like here where the weather's perfect. It's just a great start to the season. It's exciting.
Well, that's exactly it. We've got a game of football to talk about. But I wonder, from the player's perspective, do you come out here and does it matter? Do you notice it? Do you go, wow, this is incredible? Or are you just thinking about the game so you don't see it?
I think you do. You come out here, you saw the boys come out, came off the coach, we stood there looking around, taking the odd photograph. You have to be impressed by this and you have to enjoy playing in it. That said, you know, when it's time to play football, this isn't what you're thinking about. It's over the white line and making sure you get your jobs done.
Do you get a bit more excited on the pitch?
No, everything. You know, you come out, you do your warm-up. All the fans are not in the stadium. So you do your warm-up and you concentrate on that. Go back into the dressing room, and then when you come back out for the kick-off, you know, the stadium's full. And that's what you love to see as a player. Great atmosphere, but all the nerves and everything go, and you just concentrate on trying to win the game.
Danny, first match day of this part of tour.
Yeah.
What's the manager hoping for?
I think you want to see the standards raising every single day, let alone every match day. You know, he said in his press conferences, two of the bigger teams in the world, he wants us to go head to head and win. You know, winning's the thread that you have to get in that habit of, and you're not going to get everything right. The fitness levels are obviously something that are key in pre-season, but you want to come out victorious, build that winning habit, and continue that into the next one.
All right, let's find out who's playing them. We've got the team news. This is how Manchester United line up today. The big news is Toby Collier, Harry Amas and Lenny Yoro all start. Three very young players that everybody is going to be very excited to see. Danny, speak to us a bit about what you want to see from Lenny Yoro. You've been a forward at this level. What do you want defenders to do?
No, I think from his point of view, you want to see him express himself, have no fear, and we saw glimpses of it in the Rangers game. But really just show the array of talent that he showed is the reason why we signed him. You know, he's got speed, he's got good touch on the ball, his aggression's right, he reads the game well, and I think, just put it in context, he's come to Man United as an 18-year-old for a good figure, and that's not been for no reason. Just go and express yourself.
Robbo, I want to talk to you specifically about the midfield. I don't know if you look at midfields more than any other thing, because obviously our greatest ever midfield player, but talk to me about Toby Collier and the role of Mason Mount being slightly further forward.
No, well, I mean, you look at the midfield, but I look at the whole team and individual players and, you know, how they're playing and how they can maybe improve. But, you know, for Toby, this is a great one because we've got a lot of the experienced players in. And I always think if you put all the young lads together like we did in Rosenborg, it's really difficult for them. Where now that they've got a few experienced players about them, I mean, the one thing that Collier can do, he can get about the pitch and he's aggressive, you know, and he's a good physique. So I look at Mainu from where he came last season, and I look at the lad and I think he's got real ability, and so hopefully we've got another diamond who can come through. But these are the main challenges. I mean, the under-18s from last year, they had an unbelievable season, but over in Rosenborg they were disappointing. But that's the level you go up to. Now they're playing even that next level, you know, against Arsenal. So this is where you make your name or you stamp your authority, where the manager's got to look at you and is he going to put you in the team.
I want to talk to Danny now about a player who, by comparison to the three lads that we were talking about there, is a more senior player. Ahmad has a real opportunity to put a marker down in his position, doesn't he? He was excellent against Rangers, and we've seen him towards the back end of last season come off the bench often and make a huge difference to games. Yeah,
and you know, last pre-season there was a lot of hype around him after coming off the back end of a very good loan at Sunderland, and then he got injured in one of these games, and it took him a while to recover and then get back into the team. But I think scoring the goal he did in the FA Cup that got us through, and then finishing the season on a real high, you know, you like to think that he's maturing to a level now where he'll grasp the challenge for that shirt on the right-hand side.
What does he have to do, Robbo, do you think, to make that position his? Because we've got so many great options in the forward positions.
Yeah, we do, but I mean, to actually establish yourself, you've got to be consistent and you've got to play with confidence and make the right decisions on a football pitch. No matter what position you're playing in, you've got to make the right decisions. And Ahmed did that really well against Rangers. He did it really well at the end of last season. So now, with the pre-season training under his belt, is he going to go on and be an even better player and make the right decision?
Let's talk a little bit about Harry Amas, obviously, because Luke Shaw isn't here, Tyrell Malacia isn't here, so he's definitely going to get lots of opportunities to play. But not just because of their absence. He's someone that people have been talking about for the last sort of 6 months, maybe 12 months, 18 months, as a real prospect.
Yeah, well, like I said, when the under-18s were so dominant and they're doing really well, you look at individual players and you go and, you know, look at, can you step up? And the reports that everybody was getting, he definitely looks as if he's got the potential. But you only find out about that potential when you're playing at this level. And, you know, can he defend against real good players? You know, so it's there to be seen, and there for the lad to prove himself.
We just saw Eric, I mean, we can see Eric now, we just saw him try and nutmeg a photographer. Danny, do you think we've got a relaxed Eric Ten Hag at the minute?
I think he'll be as relaxed as he needs to be. You know, he'll be the gauge of what sort of tone he needs to set with the team. But yes, you can afford to be a bit more relaxed when you're in pre-season. But ultimately, if he's getting what he wants from his players, that will make him relax. Am I right, Robbo? As a manager, if your players are giving you back what you want, it helps you to relax.
Yeah, it's really important. You watch your players in training. Are they enjoying it? But are they working really hard to improve their fitness levels? Yeah. And I think he's quite happy about that, because I went to the second training session yesterday and he came across to speak to me before the lads came on the training pitch, and he was really relaxed, and you know, it was good to speak to him like that, where, you know, he was enjoying it. He was quite pleased with, you know, the way that the fitness of the players was going. So that's important to a manager.
Danny, you and I have been at the last 2 training sessions here. Obviously, yesterday's training session was an open session, so fans got to turn up, the media got to turn up, and we saw Marcus in fine form in front of goal.
Yeah. And listen, last season is, you know, if you've been serious about it, you chalk it off, it's gone. You learn from it, you move forward. I really hope that he's had the summer to be refreshed, his body feels good, mentally he's clear, and he can go out there and, you know, have that fire in his belly and go at people, because he's saying training yesterday and the sessions we've seen, he's been sharp, he's gone 1v1 against defenders, he's scoring goals, he's causing problems, and that's what we need to see from him.
I think what you've got to do, Dan, is you talk to Marcus and you go, listen, look at the way you played last year. It was disappointing, Marcus, and that's why I had to leave you out now and again. Wow. The season before, you were unbelievable, and that's the standard. We know you can do that at that level. And so we want to see that season after season.
Yeah.
Because the top players, that's what they do. They do it every season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So earlier this week, Manchester United launched and released our brand new blue away kit, and that's what the players will be wearing today. But today is not the first time that kit has been worn in a game of football. The very first time was a special match to celebrate the launch of the shirt. Robbo was there watching. Danny was a player coach. This is what happened.
I think it's amazing. It's beautiful.
We've come down to the Football Society in Los Angeles. There's a load of influencers here, some celebrities, and they're all here to celebrate the launch of Manchester United's new blue away kit. Let's go find out what they think.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love the color.
I think this is honestly one of the best.
Fashion and football needs to come together. I've been advocating for this for years. Now I'm seeing it. It's beautiful.
Always got to be ready. Always ready like Manchester United, the biggest, best club in the world. What an away kit it is. Look at it.
Looks good. Looks good.
Looking good?
Yeah.
Oh, we got a golf deal. We got a golf deal. Yeah, I really like it. I'm a big fan. Obviously got a lot of M's on it, so got my initials all over the kit, but no, I like it a lot, yeah.
So all the influencers and celebrities that were at the kit launch party earlier are now about to have a game of football. Oh, we're starting, here we go. Stop running! How do you feel about this United kit?
This one?
Yeah. Yeah, that one! There it is!
Yes! I think it's amazing, it's beautiful.
Snappy Gilmore doesn't get it. Gilmore's going to go on his own. That's a 5 finish too. Maybe golf's the wrong game for him. Another go from distance. Oh, what a finish that is. It's sensational. Is this the time? It is. Stephen Bartlett scores for Manchester United. And it's a brilliant way to launch this Manchester United away kit here in LA.
Robbo, you've played in an awful lot of kits. What do you think of this one?
No, I think it looks smart. It's not one of my favourite ones, but it's probably up there as an away kit. And I do think it looks really smart.
Are you always drawn to the red kits? Is that why?
Yeah, but now and again, when you play in all black, that was my favourite away kit. But you've got to move on, and you can't keep wearing black every season. So we've got to change. But no, I think it looks really smart.
Danny's got a collar.
I like it. I do. I like it. I think it looks smart. Robbo said, you know, it's neat, it's tidy. There's a story behind it as well, and I quite like the fact that there's a little thought that's gone into the shirt. If you go back to like the green and yellow shirt that you wore, went back to Newton Heath, there's meaning behind the shirt. So yeah, I like it, and I just didn't like getting beat in that game by the opposition wearing it. That's what I didn't like.
You knew with the manager.
Exactly.
I blame the manager. Yeah. That was immediately my thought.
Double responsibility as player and coach. Yeah, bad day at the office.
Well, Robbo, you did that. Any advice for him?
I just got to keep working at it, Dan.
Perfect. Do you think kits become great at the end of the season? Is it about what you've achieved in the shirt?
Sometimes as a player, that can have an influence. You know, if you go and win something at the end of the season, you go, wow, and you see all the photos, you know, in the kit, and you think, yeah, this is a special kit because it reminds you of things.
Guys, here's something I want to know from you. We've changed our goalkeeping coach. Do you think we'll see big changes in what Andre Onana does? And would we see that today? What should we be looking for?
No, I just feel when you get into a situation like that, he's been used to one coach who has really good assets. That's why he was at Manchester United, and he'll have seen some of Onana's weaknesses, and so he'll work on that. A new goalkeeping coach comes in and he looks at him, and he might see something different, and so he might work just that little bit different on the training ground. And so the thing is that he can only improve because of that, because he's had 2 top-class goalkeeping coaches, and they're going to work on his weaknesses, and they might have seen different weaknesses.
Danny, in the last sort of 5 years, what we expect from goalkeepers when it comes to, say, a goal kick has changed season after season in drastic ways. It's something that historically in football has always just been the goalkeeper puts it down and kicks it as far up the pitch as possible. Do you think this is the kind of thing that we might see changes in, where the coach is going to come in and actually talk about how we use the ball, not just about how we save the ball?
I think it's a collective, because you've got to work with the back four, you've got to work with your midfielders when you're doing that. There is obviously new patterns of play in modern football where your centre-halves split. Sometimes your midfielder comes in deep and will turn it around the corner or whatever it may be. And I just think sometimes it's about picking and choosing those times. There's times where you're trying to do it and it doesn't work, and you've got to then have other options to be able to go long. So then you're working with your strikers. How do you offer, create the right space, pin somebody, and we play off the front? So it's about not just having one way of getting out. You've got to have multiple ways and identify that when you're playing.
We've got two big centre forwards now, and so yeah, I quite see it and I quite like it that everybody wants to play out from the back. But every now and again, the players have got to recognise if somebody's pressing you and they are robbing you of the ball in your final third, all of a sudden you just go, wow, look at, for 5-10 minutes, let's just play a diagonal up to the big centre forwards, everybody get in behind and we go from there.
He knew what he was doing there. I'm convinced he knew what he was doing. Right, yesterday after open training, got the opportunity to talk to two of the stars of United's academy that are here on their very first tour, Sam Murray and Ethan Wheatley. Ethan, Sam, very first tour. How's it been so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, out in LA, couldn't think of a better place to be in. To be around the first team again, it's a good feeling, good experience.
Sam, have you any surprises so far? Because people, when they join United, they often talk about the first thing where they really realise the size and scale of the club is when they come on tour. But it's different because you've been here.
Yeah, well, the fans have surprised me. Obviously, being in Manchester, you get a sense of it, but the fans in Los Angeles, it's blown my mind, to be fair. So yeah, can't give enough credit to them. It's been pretty good.
Has that been a surprise?
Yeah. Well, playing under 21s games, playing under 18s games, you get a bit of a taste of it, but then you get more exposure like this, so it's been pretty good getting to know some of the fans and getting their support. It's really good.
You've only been here a few days. Anything that surprised you?
Similar to Sam, really. Like, obviously, we know worldwide we're a massive club, one of the biggest in the world. But
probably the biggest.
Yeah, the biggest in the world. But yeah, out in America, to see how it surprised me how many fans there are. I know obviously we'd have a few, but to see how many there are, yeah, it's quite wild.
Obviously, Rude's joined this season. How's that been for you? Is it just watching him, learning from him, speaking to him?
Yeah, as soon as he came in, I'm always trying to get tips from him, talk to him as much as I can. Because personally for me, I think he's probably one of the best strikers the club's had. So there's no one better else to learn from.
Obviously, this is the day before the game. Does that change the atmosphere when you're training and stuff? Is everybody thinking, got to want to make sure the manager's seen me?
Not really, just taking it day by day. Just train well, do what you can, getting in amongst it, and just giving 100% each day. I think that's what gets you these opportunities. And obviously the manager will have liked seeing us young lads. It's a good chance for us all to get in that team.
What do we think of LA so far?
It's a nice place. We've had a bit of time to have a look round, and hopefully we have a bit more, because what I've seen so far, it's nice.
What's it like in this heat? Like, because I'm just stood here with a microphone, not really doing anything, but I'm just standing there thinking, this is really hot, and I'm watching you run around. It's not like Manchester.
Well, the first day we came out to warm up over on that pitch, and I was sweating after like 2 minutes. But once you're in this heat, once you're training, you're used to it. So I like it. It's good.
Is it just about drinking lots of water?
Yeah, just obviously looking after yourself, doing the right things to make sure you don't get dehydrated. But yeah, when we first stepped out, there was a couple of players that after the warm-up, they thought the session was done. It was.
So Arsenal tomorrow. Occasionally, I think people get confused and think the perception is it's a friendly, it's pre-season, doesn't mean anything. What does it feel like in the dressing room?
Well, we know it's a big game. We know Arsenal are a good opposition. And like I said again, it's a good chance for us to show what we can do in a game like that.
You just want to win.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing, wanting to win. Obviously on pre-season, a lot of the young lads are hoping to get some minutes to express themselves and impress. So that's what we'll be looking to do, but obviously the main thing is winning.
Guys, thank you very much. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Great to hear from Sam Murray and Ethan Wheatley. Now, I've come outside this spectacular stadium to get the opinion of some fans, not the Arsenal ones. We'll start with AJ. AJ? Yeah. Where have you guys come from? How excited are you for the game?
No, you came. Well, I came from Virginia. We came from Virginia.
Yeah? Is that far?
It's about a 5-hour plane ride.
Wow, and you've come just for the game?
We came just literally for the game. He's a big fan.
Get yourself in it. Come on. Tell us.
I came from Virginia, but seriously, I'm really happy here to be here, and I'm looking forward to the match, and I want us to win like 3-0.
I would say that. Have you seen United play live before?
the last time I want to say it because like my dad died that day. I already bought the ticket to go watch Manchester Stoke 2016.
So this is the first time since then you've got the opportunity and you're taking it this time?
Yeah.
Well, I'm really sorry. That sounds like a dreadful day. Hopefully, today will just be lovely.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they will make me smile today. Because my brother is on the phone. He's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
hang up. I see you hanging up. Boo! Everybody boo. 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 Right, good luck. Right. Sir, how you doing?
Oh, good. Good.
Excited about the game?
Absolutely. First time seeing United play live.
First time ever?
Yes.
That's very exciting.
Yes.
Have you travelled far for this?
No, actually, I'm here in Orange County.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yes, I did go to England last year, though. I actually went to the Emirates Stadium in London. I actually bought this right here in London, so...
Well, the hat's nice. The Emirates is lesson, but I'm going to leave now. You've come to me, haven't you? You saved me a run.
Yes, I'm from Berlin.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I got to my friend to New York. So I flew out the way to New York.
Yeah.
We drove 1 week to be here.
That's amazing.
We made a road trip, so...
Worth it so far?
Yeah, well, it was awesome.
What's it like being a United fan in Germany?
Weird, but I'm now 27 years of United fan, so it's more than half of my life. So I was a fan since 1998, so I know everything about the club.
You are wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, look. I'm a Brit living out here. You've got yourself on. You did it. Who's
brother.
this?
That's my brother.
Get off. It's not about you, brother.
How you doing?
Talk to me. What's it like being a Brit living in LA?
I've been here for about just under a year now. Went to quite a few United games back home, but it's nice out here. The weather's good out here. I've been to the Cosmo, met Omar Barada, Wes Brown, Brian Robson. It's a great setup. Outstanding.
And the support is so enthusiastic.
Brilliant. I mean, there's more Americans here. I thought there'd be more Brits, but there's much more Americans here with United shirts on than I thought I'd see. It's a good event.
Thoughts for the game?
I'm going to sound like a manager. It's all about the fitness, but I don't want to walk away with a loss because I live the other side of LA, so it's taken me a long time to get here. So I want to go away with a win.
Just met some people that did a 5-hour flight. You've got nothing to complain about.
No, but it was an episode of planes, trains, and automobiles getting here. So good luck. Good luck today to Man United.
Yeah, good luck. Thank you very much. You've got your phone back, so I can't be accused of stealing that. No. Right, we're going to hear now from Lenny Yoro.
Lenny Yoro, Manchester United player. How does that sound?
Incredible. This is a really big sensation. This is a dream when I was young, so I'm really happy, yeah.
What does Manchester United mean to you?
For me, United, this is the football. This is one of the first club ever to be in football, and for me to play there, this is incredible, yeah. The fun, the stadium, everything.
I was looking through your Instagram yesterday.
Yeah.
The amount of comments saying, welcome to Manchester United.
Yeah, the fans are really, this is impressive. This is crazy.
Yeah. Is this the first thing where you realise how big the support is?
Yeah,
how passionate people are?
Every second I receive a message from United fans. So yeah, they are really present in the social media and everywhere. Everywhere you go, there is United fans, so it's crazy.
Your career so far, 2 years, it's gone up and up, and it's been very quick. Yeah. Tell us about what it's been like. How have you enjoyed that fast development playing in Ligue 1?
Yeah, of course, I enjoy it, but you need to be really focused, because for some people, when your career goes fast like this, sometimes it's difficult, but there's my family. They help me a lot to keep my feet in the ground, and for me it's really important. Yeah.
And what kind of defender are you? If there are United fans who haven't seen you play in Ligue 1 or in Europe, how would you describe Lenny Yoro, the centre-back?
The football of today, you need to read the game, you need to understand the opponent, and yeah, I try really to be focused on that. And after I'm really comfortable with the ball, I'm not afraid to play, so yeah.
Who's the player so far you've most enjoyed playing against?
I really like to play against, of course, Mbappe. It was really a really big duel. So yeah, for me, it helped me a lot to improve myself, and it was good against Oli Watkins because this is a big striker there, and yeah, it was really good.
One of the things people have praised you for in these first 2 years in senior football is your mentality. Other people in the Lille squad have talked about you're quite mature. Where do you think that comes from? Where do you get that calm mentality from?
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is like this. This is myself, because for me this is normal.
One of the things I saw on your Instagram is like a regular motto. Hashtag God did. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, this is something that one rapper in America said. This is DJ Khaled. So yeah, I really trust God. You know, for me it's really important to have the faith, and for me it was really good to put this on my post to thank God. To thank God, because if I'm there, this is because of Him, and yeah, for me it's important.
3, 2, 1. What's the manager said? Have you spoken to the manager yet about the move and how he sees you as part of the team now?
Yeah, we spoke with the manager. I know this is a guy who like to have players who really want to win, players who have a target, you know, a big target. So yeah, I'm there to play whoever he wants, you know, when he put me in the pitch, I'm ready to die for the club. So yeah.
What are your targets? You're a young player, many years ahead of you, but is there something you dream of doing?
Yeah, just take day by day, you know. I don't want to expose my target, but this is a big target, so I will try to improve this.
Who's your favourite United French player?
Let's say Raphaël Varane.
We've mentioned Rafa Varane, but there are other amazing French players who have represented Manchester United, starting with Eric Cantona, but also some other great defenders like Sylvestre and Laurent Blanc and Patrice Evra. How does it feel to join that club and represent your country at Old Trafford?
Yeah, of course there is not a lot of French players now in the team, so for me to represent French in England in this club is really an honor for me. But yeah, a lot of French players go in United, and this is an honor for me to join them. Yeah.
And at United, you won't be the only young player. It's a club with a history of bringing academy players through, and at the moment you've got Alejandro Garnacho, Kobe Mainu, Rasmus Højlund, Ahmad, who have both joined in recent years. How exciting is it to join a team with other young, developing talents you can grow together?
Yeah, I think this will help me a lot, because when there is young player, you know, it's more easy for you to adapt to the country, to the team. So yeah, I'm really close to Kobe, so this will help me a lot.
Has Kobe got in touch yet to say hello?
Yeah, send me a message, yeah. And this is a really good guy, and I'm really excited to see him in the pitch, yeah.
There he is, Lenny Yoro. Just quickly, before we talk about him, I want to talk directly to you. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can enjoy all of our match build-up there, but if you haven't subscribed to MUTV, you won't be able to watch the game. So make sure you do that. We've got all of the tour games and endless great content, so that's if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube. I feel like it's someone's left their car parked badly. I'm just letting you know, this is your number plate, you're on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you subscribed or you won't be able to watch the game. Okay, let's talk about Lenny Yoro. Danny, he's 18 years old. Is he someone we bought because of endless potential, something we might see in a year's time or 2 years' time? Or is he someone you think within a few months will be just starting every game because of the talent he has today?
I think you're buying a lot of potential. You're buying somebody who's already played at a high level, played in Europe, and put in some really strong performances. If you think of the type of signings where when Rooney was young and he played first-team football, and you know they can play at a high level, but you want to bring him to a massive club and maximise what they're about. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo, that kind of young player who's been excelling at their club at a good level, but as I say, coming here is a different kettle of fish, where their growth can be exponential if they do the right things.
So this is him right now, Robbo, doing his stretches behind us. He looks very calm. What do you want to see from a centre-back at that age? Because if we're talking about a centre-forward, it's easy. You say, well, I want to see goals, I want to see them getting in the right positions. For a defender, Is it harder to judge?
Well, I want to see really good defending. That's what he's paid for. But, I mean, in that interview there, he was saying he's comfortable on the ball and he wants to play. So that's a great sign, and we saw that a little bit in the Rangers game, where he plays out and it's not very often he gives the ball away. So that's a great start. But look, he's going to grow stronger as he goes along, which centre-halves do. But he looks as if he's got all the qualities to become good. The thing is, whoever has made the decision to bring him in, hopefully their judgment is really good about how he can progress.
When it comes to centre-back pairings, last season it was spectacularly difficult for us to put consistent defenders on the pitch. With that in mind, what do you think the manager's thinking is going into next season? He's brought in Lenny Yoro, he's spoken publicly about the possibility of other defenders, centre-backs as well. Depth as much as anything. He said it in the press conference yesterday that if you're going to be challenging at the top, you need depth and you want competition for places. You know, we ideally need 4 centre-halves who could start and fighting out for the shirt. Then you find a pair within that really works strongly, and the others are fighting to get the shirt, and you need to create competition for places. So, you know, we've got Harry, you know, Martinez still to come back, we've still got Lindelof, obviously we lost Varane and so on. So we have people in that position already operating at a high standard, but everybody needs to be pushed. OK, well, we're going to hear from the manager right now. Here's Erik ten Hag.
Eric, it's our first game in the US, had a good few days preparation in LA. What are you looking for from your team today?
It's third game, but it's of course a good test. We all know Arsenal is a very good team, very good ball-playing team, good in the transition. So yeah, we want to play to our identity, and that is playing aggressive. We want to outplay from the back, but we know we have to do it with some intensity. If you want to match them, you have to be good, you have to be well organised, and you have to do it with intensity.
A few changes to the team from last Saturday, among them Harry Maguire coming back from injury, obviously Rasmus back after Euros. How good is it to have those players back in the team?
Oh, we have to build them. We have to construct a squad who's capable to play a lot of games who are coming up. So everyone has to come into match fitness. So it's good to have Harry back, to have Rasmus back, but also some others. And of course, we have to work on our K model.
Just a word on the stadium. I've seen you out on the pitch having a look around. What do you think of it? It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It's an amazing stadium. It's a fantastic experience to be here, to face an opponent like Arsenal. It's a big game, and I'm sure everyone is excited, and I'm sure everyone will enjoy it here.
Good luck. Cheers.
He's right, it is an experience being here, isn't it? Let's talk about what he said there. We'll try and dissect it a little bit. He talked about wanting everybody ready. So, Danny, I guess building on what you were talking about in terms of depth, how do you think we're set at the minute? Do you see this as a squad that needs a few touches here and there, or do you think there's more work to be done?
No, well, I think if last season's anything to go by and we didn't have the depth then, we've lost the centre-forward and the centre-half in Martial and Varane. We've brought in 2 players to replace them, so effectively, numbers-wise, we're in the same place. So you would like to think there'd be 1 or 2 more additions, and that anybody you're bringing in is with an idea of being better than what we've got, or at least of a level to push. So, yeah, you've got to get the balance right.
So in terms of that additions, I suppose that doesn't specifically mean going out and signing somebody, because Kobbie Mainoo was easily one of our best players last season, and he came from a tour just like this in America. So Toby Collier, Harry Amas will be thinking, well, maybe I'll be that addition.
100%. I think that's the challenge that they're set with at this moment in time, and I think the manager must trust Toby and, you know, Harry and all the boys that are out here today. He must trust them to give them the opportunity to play, because it could be a case where they're just there for the numbers and they play 10 minutes at the end as a bit of a token, and then they go home and he barely played anything in the tour. So he must trust Toby to put him in the middle of the park, knowing how well Arsenal play in the middle of the park as well.
What he was saying, Sam, in that interview as well, though, is he wants the players to have control in the way he wants them to play. You know, so if we do have a few injuries, the player who comes in and replaces them, they're playing in the same way, so then they can get an understanding with each other all the time. So that we all know that when we look back at the last season, I know we had horrendous injuries, but when people were coming in, I don't think we knew when we were pressing, when we were dropping off, and I think that's what he's saying there, that he wants us to understand right from the start of the season what we're going to do.
Well, he talks about the intensity, didn't he, as if we're playing out from the back because it's Arsenal. Obviously, this is an Arsenal team that don't win any trophies, but it's a good test for us, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always a good test. Arsenal, they're a good side. Mikel Arteta's got them playing with a real good intensity. And yes, they've fallen short twice to an excellent Man City in the league, but they've pushed them all the way. And Mikel Arteta had a troublesome time at the beginning when he first went to Arsenal, and the fans were calling him to leave. But he stuck to his guns, he stuck to his principles. And I'd like to think that the same thread would be with Eric Ten Hag. You have a difficult first couple of years, and then you start to see what the seals rising and get into a good rhythm.
You know what you've got to remember though, Dan? Yeah, he had a really difficult year last year because of it. But that's 2 seasons he's been with us, and he's won two trophies.
Yeah.
It's important how you play. Well, I thought that was great by the lads and by him and his staff to actually go on and win the FA Cup final.
Agreed.
Let's talk for a second about this Arsenal side. We just saw them doing their warm-ups. Robbo's doing 1-2 to Christian Eriksen. Here we go. So let's talk about Arsenal a little bit, and then we can talk about Christian if he wants to join in. So nobody has ever come second twice at the top of English football and then gone on to win the league. This is a team that, have they reached their peak? Do you think this is a side that can do more?
No, I don't think you can look at those records and say that it will have a bearing on their season this year. I think football's ever-changing. It's a game of margins where people are trying to get, better players in who, if they get someone else in who scores 15 goals, it could make the difference. City had that with Haaland. So, no, I don't think you can look at that as a rule of thumb. I just think that, listen, it's tight at the top of the Premier League, and it's going to be difficult, whoever's up there.
It will be, because it depends sometimes how you start and how your injuries go. But if you start really well and you get the confidence in the club, you've got to say that City, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, and ourselves, Arsenal, them teams are capable, if they stay away from injuries and they get it off to a good start, they're capable of staying right there to the end of the season. But then it's who's been through it and actually went over the line to win the title.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny, just quickly before we move on, if you're doing your warm-up now, what are you thinking?
Relaxed enough to you know what your jobs are. You feel warm, you're relaxed enough, you've had a good feel on the ball, and you're excited to go and play, and you're not tensing up. You're going out there to go and play your football. You're thinking about winning, the things you have to do, to your roles and responsibilities in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Robbo, we're slowly seeing fans filter in. It's much busier in front of us than it is behind. How loud do you expect this place to be? We've had to put these on because we can't hear.
No, I think it'll be a great atmosphere in here. There's probably going to be 70,000 here.
Yeah.
And so, you know what the United fans are like in the US. I mean, they get right behind the team, and they just like to see good football, but they want to see your team win. So they'll make it a good atmosphere.
Yeah, they certainly will. Speaking of good atmospheres, earlier today, the three of us got to go to the Cosm. It is the most spectacular venue just round the corner from here. And Danny and I were joined by Laurie Whitwell and Andy Mitten for a very special edition of The Debate. Andy, speaking of Eric Ten Hag, he said in his press conference yesterday that we want to win every single game of football that we play. But does he have a difficult job today? Because I guess the whole point of it for him is to get his players through the game fit. Obviously, Kobe got injured on tour last season. We don't want anything like that to happen. It's just minutes in the legs, everybody ready for the next game and first day of the season. But all of us want us to beat Arsenal and beat them well, just like we did last year in New York.
Well, last year was the best game in the pre-season in the MetLife Stadium. It was the most convincing performance. As you say, it's crucial that we don't have a repeat of Kobe getting injured against Real Madrid in Texas last year. As Laurie said, a chance to see potential emerging talents, because a year ago we didn't know that Cobby was going to make the impression that he did do. And as Danny says, some of the players who haven't performed as well, it's their chance to come back, and I agree with Laurie. Marcus Rashford looked sharp yesterday. Casemiro's looking good. He needs to have a better season. His first season was exceptionally good, and last season less so. So he needs to raise his levels. He'll know that. The manager's just weighing everything up. There's been a lot of changes at the club as well. And if you can come off this with the players feeling fitter, no injuries, smash Fulham, smash Manchester City in the Charity Shield. I'm getting carried away here. Move on to someone else.
Danny, speak to us a bit about the psychology of players like Casemiro and Marcus Rashford, hugely experienced. But what's it like when maybe you don't have a game or a season or a few games that are at the level you want them to be?
I think it's so intense when you're playing 46 games or 50 games, then going into international tournaments year after year after year. And, you know, you look at the likes of Casemiro, who's been doing it for a number of years, and sometimes you just need 5 minutes. Everybody needs it, no matter what walk of life you're in. You need just a mental break. I think we saw when Marcus had it 2 seasons ago, he came back having had a bit of time off social media and a bit of time with his family, and he came back hungry for it. And it can get lost sometimes as a player, where you're just going through the motions and you just can't quite find yourself, but the season continues and you're expected to perform. So hopefully it gives you that new time, that time to reflect, and then come back with a humility and a hunger to go and achieve.
Eric's obviously keeping his thoughts for the game, who's going to play and such, very quiet at the minute. But are there players, Andy and Laurie, that you want to see together in certain pairings that you might want to see through the rest of the season?
That midfield, you want to have a look at, don't you? I mean, Toby Collier has impressed so far. I know it's only 2 friendly games and he's not played the full 90 minutes, but he looks like he's got that kind of maturity that we saw from Cobby. I know he's slightly older, actually, but so maybe him alongside Casemiro. Mason Mount as well. You know, you sort of forget that he was the first signing last summer, and he didn't, you know, have the performances that we'd hoped for, but obviously it was massively impaired by the injuries that he had. And Erik ten Hag in his press conference yesterday said, don't judge him by last season because of the injuries. You can't, it's not a fair sort of way to view a player. So he looks like he's come back refreshed. Hopefully he's over the injury problems. And so that midfield, I know you said pairing, I've sort of said 3 players there, but some kind of balance there. Yeah.
I think the point on Mason Mount is a good one. A year ago we were all so excited about seeing him, and it didn't really work for him last season. I think Will Frisch has done well, as I don't expect him to be a starter for Manchester United this season, but young players like him can take the opportunities. Very high profile, going to be a huge crowd in this massive stadium, and it feels like it's gearing up. Last season was a really good game between Manchester United and Arsenal. I'm not going to say that United against Rosenborg was a couple of weeks ago. The players had not trained enough, and they met a team who were in the middle of their season, so it felt like a bit of a mismatch. There's more players back now, so I've got more optimism that this will be better.
Danny, I see you watching the shooting drills. We've just seen Casemiro score a very, very delicate tap-in. Rasmus Højlund blasted one in. What is it you're looking for? What's your perspective on this?
I was just looking at, you know, who's tuned in, you know, watching the lads do the finishing there, and Rasmus has hit a few in and he's missed one, and then he's disappointed, and then he wants to go again. It's just, yeah, he's just trying to get into a rhythm, aren't he? And you got the defensive unit doing their little bit over the far side as well. Lenny Yoro working out what to do with Harry Maguire because they've not played together. So just little details where they're learning each other.
Robbo, what did you do during a routine like this, where we're almost 10-15 minutes away from kickoff? Were you just happy being on the pitch, or, like Danny said, are you trying to get in mindset? Is your activity making a difference to how you're preparing?
Yeah, I think once you come out of the team meeting and, you know, the managers pick the team, and you know what you've got to do, because you've been working on it all week on the training ground. So for me, when I went out for a warm-up, it's making sure that, you know, you're ready to go right from the off. But you don't really think too much about the game when you're in a warm-up, because you've done all that preparation, and it's when the ball kicks off, now you switch in, and that concentration level has got to be there.
Does the fact that it's a friendly enter players' heads when they're thinking about tackles or trying to win a diving header or like a last stretch for a ball, because nobody wants an injury?
No, No, it shouldn't do. It shouldn't do. This is obviously if you're fatiguing an hour into a game in pre-season and you don't go and do something stupid and overstretch, and you're mindful of those kind of things, but you're not thinking about injury or anything. You're going out and just playing with the freedom to win the game.
Obviously, there's penalties at the end of this, just like there was at the end of the game last time against Arsenal in New York. We beat them twice that day. Robbo, like Danny was saying there, when you're on the pitch and the game starts, even if it's a friendly, does that competitive spirit just take over and you want to win the game?
Of course it does, because what you get out of these games is your fitness, but you can also get a lot of confidence, and that's what some of our lads need, a good confidence that they can win this game, and then you go to the next game and hopefully you run this to it and you don't get beat, and that's really important to the players.
Danny, talk to us a bit about conditioning and what that actually means at this level, because the season didn't finish that long ago, but we know that during pre-seasons players don't play 90 minutes sometimes till right to the end, and some players don't do a full 90 minutes. So what's actually happening in terms of the body?
I think this part of the year for any football team is the most important. You're getting a bulk of work into your body of an intensity that is to build up to start the season. Once you're up and running and the games are going, then your body's used to the rigours that come with it week in, week out football. But it's the build-up process and how you're loading, basically. You're doing things that you won't get to do in the season. The weights work, the body conditioning work. That's the sort of thing you can get in now, and then in the season you're sort of just topping up bit by bit. So it's why it's so important, even for injury prevention.
Rob, I imagine it's changed a lot since you played.
To a certain degree, because like pre-warm-ups and everything are a lot more intense, where the lads do more or less 2 warm-ups before they go into the session. But you always did sort of warm-ups and then you go into it, and what Alex always wanted was high intensity. Well, it wasn't long periods, but he wanted high intensity, which the lads used to give him. But then warm downs wasn't really part of the game in them times. You just went in, got a shower or soaked in the bath for a bit, and that was your warm down.
That sounds very pleasant. I honestly thought you were going to say you just go to the pub.
No, we weren't that bad.
So we can see some of the fans now. What do you think they should be expecting today? Because people never know, I think especially like out here in America, what to expect from pre-season. They might be surprised by the number of substitutes, for example. They might not know there's going to be penalties at the end, regardless of the score.
Well, I think what they want to see is exciting football, and hopefully Arsenal and United can do that. A bit like last year's game, where it was a really good game to watch. The penalties, I think that's a razzmatazz of the USA, and that's for a bit of fun for the fans.
Do you see it as a good practice, though? Because there are points in the season where you could have games, like we had it in the FA Cup semi-final, where you go to penalties.
Yeah, of course you can. And you look at England in the Euros, and you could see that they're mentally prepared for penalties, and they did well in penalty shootouts. And so you do have to practice and get that on board.
Arsenal's previous pre-season game on the 24th on Wednesday, the day we flew out here, they drew with Bournemouth and won that game on penalties. Danny, how far do you think their preparation has taken them in for this one?
I think it's similar to us. You can look at our Rosenborg game and say it didn't go so well, but did we learn from it in the Rangers game? Yes, we did. And this is another one where we've both not had immaculate pre-seasons in terms of results, but are we going in the right direction? Yes, we are, and I think they are as well. So it's here ready to be a good game.
Okay, right, speaking of a good game, something very exciting is happening in September, and Robbo knows all about it. 7th of September this year. You can buy your tickets right now. The man sitting in the dugout from Manchester United will be the man stood next to me right now. Robert, how excited are you to get to do things like this?
Yeah, it's great getting all the players together, preparing them. The lads love playing in these games, so it should be a good game because Celtic will probably be about 20,000 down from Glasgow. So it should be a good weekend.
Well, we just saw in that little clip there genuine legends of our football club that are going to play. Some of them, like, I mean, Dimitar Berbatov is still in extraordinary shape, will still do the same amazing things he did with a football. What would you say to people that are thinking, yeah, I could probably get to that?
Yeah, well, it's a great weekend for them. You know, it's International Week, and so they can go to Old Trafford, really enjoy the game. It's sort of like a party day. And so people can just go and enjoy the day with the kids. So yeah, it's terrific.
Certainly is. Just a quick reminder, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you need to subscribe to MUTV to watch the actual game. We've got all of the tour games coming up and then lots of great stuff throughout the season. So you should do that, otherwise it will just stop, I assume. Danny, a few more moments here in this spectacular arena before the players come out and take their pitch. It's a sellout. You can see fans milling around in all the social places, all the gathers, all the bars, all the shops. What's it like playing in stadiums like this just during the tour? Not just today, but we've got more to come.
No, I mean, these are new stadiums that have never had the privilege of playing in, but you'd assume that you'd lap it up. The fans will be in good voice. We're outside. They have been at every event so far, so they'll be in good voice. And I think ultimately you just want to watch a good football match where two teams are competing to a good level. There's some goals, and United come out victorious. But you know that's ultimately what it's surrounded with, the spectacle on the pitch.
If the Old Trafford Regeneration Project team are watching, what features are you pointing out?
Well,
the whole stadium.
Yeah, there's endless things here. There's different, hospitality bits. It's sunken down below sort of ground level, and just the whole design's unbelievable. And from the outside in, it's impressive. But then when you come inside, it's a wow again.
Yeah, it is an absolutely spectacular place. So we can see Joe the groundsman now is out there just making sure everything's nice and smooth. In terms of the standard of this game, we've talked about the conditioning and what to expect from the players. But would we expect this to be played in the intensity of a Premier League game?
No, not quite, because they're not quite there yet. They're building up to that intensity. So, like we say, everybody will want to win the game, but it'll not be to that intensity if it's the first match of the season.
Yeah, it looks like the players are in the tunnel, so I don't think it'll be long before they're out on the pitch. Danny, what's going through the mind right now?
Relax, enjoy yourself. Everyone will be shaking hands in the dressing room, tuning in, and just being ready to go out and perform. That's simple as that. The hard preparation's been done. Now it's time to go and perform.
Speaking of time to perform, I'm going to hand over now to two of the best in the business and two absolutely wonderful people. It's Liam Bradford and Ben Thornley.
Checks in the post, Sam. Thank you very much indeed. Welcome to Inglewood. Welcome to Los Angeles. Welcome to SoFi Stadium, the cutting edge of stadia in the United States of America, where two of the biggest Premier League sides get to square off in pre-season. Arsenal, the home side, Manchester United sporting that brand spanking new away kit, taking them on. I'm really looking forward to this, Ben. It feels like pre-season is now properly underway.
Yeah, it certainly does. This was a thrilling encounter this time last season. I know that it didn't set us up for future fixtures against Arsenal because we didn't come out on top, but this is a real sort of time for these young players in this squad to set a marker down. There's a few in the starting lineup tonight, and they'll be looking to just give Erik ten Hag something to think about, but it's all set for a really good game.
Yeah, fans listening to this American national anthem, which will play out before the game. The land of the free and the home of the brave is the venue for Manchester United against Arsenal. And what a game we have in store. This could be absolutely magnificent. Looking at the two teams, we'll take you through them in full in just a moment here on MUTV, Ben, but it is absolutely jam-packed, both of these teams, with proper first-team Premier League players. In fact, let's take a look at these two teams now. Andre Onana starts in goal for Manchester United. Youngster Harry Amas on the left-hand side. The experienced Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the opposite side. United's new signing, Lenny Yoro, alongside Harry Maguire in the heart of defence. Toby Collier partners Casemiro in the heart of midfield, and then a strong front four. Rashford left, Ahmad right, fresh off his goal against Rangers. Mount starts behind Rasmus Højlund up front.
Yeah, it's a strong starting 11.
In terms of Arsenal, they've got pretty strong too. Karl Hein in goal for them, the experienced Alexander Zinchenko on the left-hand side and Ben White on the right. The youngster Aidan Heaven alongside Jurrien Timber in the heart of defence. Jorginho and their youth team player Nwaneri in the midfield. Trossard, Odegaard and Nelson behind the brilliant, when he's on form, Gabriel Jesus up front.
Yeah, both teams are the mirror image of each other, aren't they? A lot of experience in that team, but also a sprinkling of a couple of youngsters as well, and that's what we want to see in pre-season. And like I said before, a real chance to get your marker down.
Just pick out a couple of these Manchester United players that are starting today. Maybe some players that you won't be so aware of, the players that we get to watch all the time when we're watching the under-18s and the under-21s on MUTV throughout the season. Harry Amas starting at left-back for Manchester United. I think we've both been really impressed with him since he joined from Watford last season.
Yeah, he's been a revelation and was a huge part of the success of the under-18s last year. And when you think about Sam Murray as well, and what a problem position that was for us in the first team last year with Luke Shaw's injuries, Terrell Malacia being out for the full season. So this is a real chance for them to shine in the position that they're both used to. And then you've got Toby Collier as well. And don't forget, these players haven't come through the academy, but it just goes to show how United are on the ball with bringing other players in from other academies.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to point out as well as Harry Amas, who you've got for Manchester United, and Toby Collier, who's a youngster, they've signed Lenny Yoro. He's still only 18 himself, despite having played as many games as he did in Ligue 1 last season. Yeah,
it is amazing how youthful this squad is looking, but also not to forget the experience of the likes of Casemiro, of Harry Maguire, of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And, you know, it has the real prospect of a great season for Manchester United, but this is where the hard work starts in these games here.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I know that they touched on before the game, pitch side at SoFi Stadium. How important it is at this stage of pre-season to really load that body, to really make sure that the early preparation is done to get yourself ready for the season. It's absolutely crucial.
Massive. There is nothing more important than a professional footballer than your pre-season, because if you can get through pre-season and you're flying when the games are coming round, then you can just sort of keep yourself ticking over at various stages of the season with things that you need. But your strength work, your conditioning work, your injury prevention work, that is all done in pre-season, and it's all built up from day one up until, you know, up till you get to the week when you're about to kick the season off. But it's imperative. Once it's interrupted and disrupted by injury, it becomes really difficult to be able to get that back. This is where the main bulk of your fitness work is done for the full season.
So teams in the tunnel, this is a tunnel that's used to holding two American football teams, so it's nice and wide, there's plenty of room. We've got the Rams and the Chargers coming out here with pads on as well. You've got to make sure that there's enough space. You can see officials ready to go. Casemiro going to be leading out Manchester United. Martin Odegaard going to be leading out Arsenal. They're two players who, on their day, both captaining their respective sides today, are exceptional footballers.
Yeah, different types of footballers, but certainly players that can, in just one pivotal moment, be able to transform the game of football that they're playing in for, you know, for the good of their own team. Casemiro's passing ability, his ability to be able to read the game, and obviously Odegaard, captain of the team, and is an influential figure and key to the way that they play.
Yeah, absolutely crucial. And I think Casemiro having a full pre-season for Manchester United and absolutely getting himself ready and raring to go is going to be huge. He had a bit of an injury-disrupted early part of the season last season, and he'll be absolutely wanting to make sure that he's 100% ready to go for the start of the Premier League season.
Yeah, because a fit Casemiro who is, you know, ready to roll on the back of 5 and 6 games, you then start to see what he really can deliver. We saw that in his first season, but because his season was interrupted by injury last year, we didn't see the player that we saw the year before. If we can get him back to that, and a full pre-season will massively help, then what a difference that could be to the team and the squad.
It could be absolutely huge, couldn't it? You just take a brief look at the two managers as well before we get this game underway. I think this is quite important too. You've got the likes of Erik ten Hag, who's sort of early on in the plan, his big plan for Manchester United. That takes time, and his opposite number, who absolutely has had a little bit more time to get things ready, in Mikel Arteta, and he's reaping the benefit. It's really an example of what can happen if you are a little bit patient, you give a manager enough time, build the structure around him and back him, and all of a sudden you can reap the rewards.
Well, Erik ten Hag has won a trophy in each of the seasons that he's been here that no other manager, even Sir Alex, didn't do that. And Mikel Arteta, from an Arsenal side that only 2 or 3 seasons ago looked like they were some way off being anywhere near title challengers, and he takes the helm, and all of a sudden, well, we've seen what they've done in the last couple of seasons. But I think Erik ten Hag this season will really be looking to kick this team on. The last season is now gone. The end result was brilliant, the win against Manchester City, for so many reasons, and now we have to kick on further from that.
We are not a million miles away from getting this game underway on MUTV. If you are new to MUTV, a brand new subscriber, or maybe you're coming back to us after a little while to watch this pre-season, you are absolutely welcome. Ben Thornley and I will do our level best to keep you fully up to date with what's going on at SoFi Stadium, and what a stadium this is, by the way. Just having a look around there, we were seeing the shots of people like Dominic Monaghan, who, Charlie from Lost, or whichever Hobbit he was he Merry? I think he was Merry in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and he's there with, proper beer glasses and chips in a cone. It looked absolutely magnificent. That's hospitality, Ben.
It certainly is, and it's the way that it is, isn't it, in the States anyway. It's they do everything bigger, everything better, and we saw glimpses of it there.
Manchester United lining up for that picture. Harry Amass holding the pennant, Toby Collier alongside him. You'll know many of the other faces. Mason Mount there just turning away. It's a big season for him too. I don't think he had the first season at Manchester United that he would have wanted. Very interrupted with illness and injury, really not able to make his mark. A little bit unfortunate too, I suppose, to be wanting to play the position that was held down so valiantly by Bruno Fernandes, who was so brilliant last season. This is a real opportunity for Mason Mount to put a marker down for the season.
Yeah, it's massive, and whether he has got aspirations of trying to fill that number 10 role that Bruno has done so brilliantly for the last 4 seasons, I think that there is definitely a place for a Mason Mount that we saw at Chelsea a couple of seasons ago, for a couple of seasons, in that he can come in off either of the wide areas and really create problems with his movement, with his passing, with his ability on the ball. It is a big season for him, because he would have been so disappointed with his return last year. I know that a lot of it was through injury, but I think even when he was included in the starting lineup, I don't feel as though he thought that he fully justified the player that we all know he is.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right, and hopefully we can see Mason Mount come on leaps and bounds. He managed to get his first goal last season for Manchester United. It took him a little while, but that goal at Brentford was a good goal, was really good goal, and just a bit unlucky in the end that game finished the way that it did in the dying stages, because it would have been a brilliant 3 points for Manchester United had it stood, because they played pretty well for the whole of that game. It just sort of all fell apart in the dying moments, didn't it? Right, well, that's last season. Let's focus on the pre-season, shall we? Arsenal ready to go. Manchester United all lined up too. I've got to say, that new kit